Hello, my name is Jessica Gegner, and today I'm going to talk to you about the process of spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Today is May 3rd of 2023, and this is for State Fair Community College's Physiology. So the process of oogenesis is the one I'm going to speak about first. Oogenesis is a process of making eggs, a female egg. You are as a fetal made before, until birth, you are making all of your primary oocytes that you will ever have. So you have about 1 million at the time that you were born, and they stay as a primary oocyte, which is an immature one, until you hit puberty. And all of this occurs in the ovarian follicles. The inside is the primary oocyte, the outside is the follicular cells, which is kind of like a cell membrane in a way. It protects it. All right, and then so step 2 would start at puberty. At puberty, I have a zoomed in picture of a brain here. This is your hypothalamus, the green, and the red is your pituitary gland. The green starts first, which is hypothalamus. It starts releasing the gonadotropin. The gonadotropin stimulates the FSH and the LH. They both specifically target a specific part on this third step here. So for the third step, the FSH is going to stimulate the follicular cells and the growth around them, which also stimulates estrogen. As the estrogen builds, it can help that LH, which makes an amateur oocyte right here in the middle of this developed growth of estrogen. That's what it does. This is about a 14-day process, and it's all about meiosis. The fourth step is when this follicular cell outer ring here, this is my drawing, this little line here, it says ovarian wall. The inside amateur oocyte breaks through the ovarian wall, leaving back behind this piece here. This is some first stage of the meiosis here, and it is now a mature oocyte. And now that means you've ovulated. This is typically an ovulation cycle right here, up to stage 4. Stage 5, the damaged follicular cells that are left behind here turn into corpus luteum. The corpus luteum is made by the estrogen slowing down, which stimulates the progesterone inhibitin in the estrogen on the corpus luteum here, which is how this corpus luteum is made. When this corpus luteum is made, this stops because the estrogen is slowing. It completely shuts off the production of the LH and FSH, which makes the oocyte able to start traveling down the fallopian tube to go find a spermatid, and it can complete the rest of the process. The meiosis stage 1 is the furthest that the female egg gets by itself. The meiosis 2 only starts once it's met a spermatid. All right, for the spermatogenesis, it's a little more simple, but they all start the same way in the brain, because I guess I can go over some anatomy here. The process of this starts in the seminiferous tubules, which is in the scrotum. It's like the circular part here that's the actual ball itself. And then the fun fact, the scrotum is on the outside of the body because at 37 degrees or higher Celsius, which would be about body temperature 98.6 Fahrenheit, the sperm cannot produce their cells. So that is why the scrotum is actually on the outside of the body. It needs cooler temperatures to get sperm production flowing. So this is your little sperma cell. This is where it's made. These are on the inside. This is the lumen here. And the yellow here cannot see my own picture. Basal lumina is the outside, and then the yellow or the fluid is the lumen, which is on the very inside. It's made of Leydig cells, which are on the outside of this little cell, and then on the inside they are Sertoli cells. Both of them are reactive to the testosterone itself. So it's kind of anatomy of that. Okay, so that is the first stage here, is where the sperm is made at puberty. So at puberty, the same thing, hypothalamus, which is the green, starts the gonadotropin. The gonadotropin stimulates the LH and the FSH, which is follicular stimulating and the luteinizing hormone. The first one to be triggered is this Leydig cell, and that is triggered by the luteinizing hormone, which is LH. The LH, after it triggers that Leydig cell, it can produce the testosterone, which is this green here, this little green triangle. The testosterone, that's the start of the sperm starting. And then the next step would be the folliculating stimulating hormone, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, triggers the androgen binding protein on the Sertoli cells, and that makes the androgen binding protein. So you have the androgen binding protein and your testosterone together. They get together and bind, and that is the first step in making sperm production. Number 2 is the spermatogenesis. So you have the primary, which is A, and then a B here. The primary will always move, and it moves into the lumen, but the A, which is the very first one, it stays behind at the basal lumina because it needs to be able to replicate more and make more sperm. That's that step. And then this third step would be meiosis, phase 1. That is where 2 identical daughter cells are made, and this is going to create a secondary oocyte of 2 haploid cells. The 2 haploid cells then go to the next step, which is the meiosis stage 2, because that was meiosis stage 1, which makes us 4 daughter cells. And that is now a spermatid. And they are fully capable of their 23 chromosomes to make an actual person. The 5th and final step is the easiest step. It's pretty much just these 4 right here. These 4 spermatids are able to develop their flagellum, which is the only way that they can move and go find an egg. So this stage is very crucial. It's about a 5-week process. So that's how they can go find an egg, and that's how you can make babies. The fun fact though, the human mature male makes about 1,500 sperms per second. So they're not lacking. So I hope you've learned about spermatogenesis and oogenesis, and thank you for watching.